In this article, we put an end to the persistent myth that left-handed people are unable to use fountain pens properly. In addition, we provide you with the most helpful left-handed writing suggestions and demonstrate what we consider to be the absolute best pens for left-handers, all with the goal of assisting you in selecting a pen that is tailored to your specific needs. Is it possible to use a fountain pen with your left hand? If you write with your left hand, you can absolutely use a fountain pen. People who write with their left hand are generally discouraged from using fountain pens due to the widespread misconception that they will smudge the ink all over the place if they do so. If you write with your left hand, you've probably tried using fountain pens in the past and been frustrated by the opposite of what you wanted to happen. However, whether or not you believe it, the reason ink gets all over your hand and the page has less to do with the fact that you are left-handed and more to do with the way you write. What challenges do those who write with a left-handed fountain pen encounter? Writing with a left-handed fountain pen can be challenging due to the increased risk of smearing ink across the page. Since the majority of languages, including English, are written from left to right, users of fountain pens who are left-handed need to be aware of the possibility of their writing hand dragging through the ink while it is still wet. In addition, fountain pens use ink that is liquid-based, and this type of ink often dries more slowly than ballpoint ink. Are there any fountain pens that are designed for lefties? Fountain pens have come a long way in terms of their design, which is great news for anyone who writes with either their left or right hand. These days, left-handed people may use the vast majority of conventional fountain pens without any issues. In times past, the nibs of fountain pens were frequently made of softer, more flexible materials. This created problems for those who used a fountain pen with their left hand. When writing, persons who are left-handed typically push their pens rather than pull them. This allows for writing to be done from left to right. However, when pushed over the page, the flexible nibs would frequently separate from one another, which resulted in smearing, untidy writing, and an unpleasant experience overall. Left-handed people can take comfort in the fact that the vast majority of fountain pens now on the market have a firm nib. In spite of this, here are some tips for selecting a fountain pen that is suitable for left-handed use. Utilizing a pen that has a comfortable ergonomic grip. Utilizing a fast-drying ink. The Parker's Quink brand of fountain pen ink is a well-liked option. Use a pen that has a nib made of steel. Employing a pen that has a very fine nib. Using standard paper as opposed to paper optimized for use with a fountain pen. These suggestions are not in the form of hard and fast rules, because every writer has their own style, but they can serve as a guide for novice writers. A helpful hint: you should always make it a point to purchase fountain pen ink that is manufactured by the same brand as your fountain pen. What does it mean to have a left-handed nib? There are just a handful of pen manufacturers that produce left-handed nibs for fountain pens. The nib is sliced in the opposite way of a standard nib, which is the primary distinction between the two. You may try using a left-handed fountain pen nib, but if your technique is incorrect, you might discover that the same thing happens either way. If you put in a little bit of effort and practice, you can quickly fall in love with the elegance of writing with a fountain pen, and you will never again feel constrained by the fact that you write with your left hand. Please take the time to read the following advice for left-handed writers. Advice for writers who write with their left hand. Put the paper to the left of your body where you are sitting. Because of this, you will be able to clearly see what you have written as you move along. Turn the paper so that your arm is perpendicular to the bottom edge of the paper after you have tilted it. At first, you could find that doing this is unnatural, but in the long term, it will be beneficial for you. While you write, make sure that your hand is below the line and that your wrist is straight. If you need to keep your paper steady, you can use your right hand. This decreases the likelihood that it may move or slide while you are writing. When writing with a left-handed fountain pen, having a sheet of paper that is stable is really necessary. Instead of pressing your pen across the paper, try pulling it across the surface instead. By doing this, you will reduce the likelihood of scratching your nib or ballpoint. This will ensure that your nib remains in good condition. Maintain a firm grip on your pen with the thumb, index, and middle fingers. It's possible that doing this will require some practice and feel awkward at first, but in the long run, it will be well worth it. Writing on a surface that slopes downwards can be beneficial for certain people. Because of this, it is impossible for them to stay put on the paper and smudge the ink. Some people who write with their left hand may benefit from using a fountain pen with a left-handed nib. We are able to assist you in locating the one that meets all of your requirements. A helpful hint, whether you write with your right or left hand, if the ink in your fountain pen has evaporated, it will not function correctly. This is true regardless of which hand you write with. You have the option of attempting to fix your dry fountain pen on your own or taking it in to be fixed professionally. Best fountain pens for left-handers: LAMY Safari. Left-handed writers may find the green LAMY Safari fountain pen to be an excellent writing instrument. The LAMY Safari fountain pen is particularly well-liked among customers throughout because it contains a steel nib. Writing with it will be scratch-free and smooth even for left-handed people. In addition to this, it is a reasonably priced fountain pen, which makes it an excellent choice for novices. Additionally, we'd adore that it comes in a variety of vibrant hues to choose from. Parker Sonnet. Left-handed people will find that the Parker Sonnet Blue Lacquer Chrome Trim Fountain Pen is among the greatest fountain pens available. Ideal for writers who write with their left hand, the Parker Sonnet is an elegant and timelessly designed writing instrument that is compatible with Parker's Quink. The Sonnet is a very trustworthy and enduring option, and it is equipped with a steel nib. LAMY CP1. Another LAMY option that is well liked among left-handed fountain pen writers is the CP1 model of the LAMY brand. This pen has a minimal profile, is uncomplicated, and comes with a nib made of steel. Hannah, a member of the crew at the pen shop, was under the impression when she first started working there that left-handed writers are unable to use fountain pens. She became an ardent enthusiast of fountain pens and amassed quite the collection as a result of her consistent practice and the polishing of her technique. Left-handed pens. Please get in touch with us if you are interested in purchasing left-handed fountain pens or left-handed nibs, or if you would like more information about these writing implements. You may also visit one of our stores to test writing with a left-handed fountain pen.